Hi, it's Mark Murphy with TravelTube.com, and I've got Irene Sauger here on the telly. If you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify, if you're watching the video, Irene is with GoVacationGuru.com, and you have been diving into the AI space, Irene, as a little travel agency owner. So I want to know what you have been up to since the last time we talked and why it's exciting for your travel business.
Okay, well, Mark, thanks for having me. It's good to see you. Um, it just all happened organically. You get all these ads across Facebook constantly. I don't even know how I clicked or when I clicked, but I thought, what can I do to help my business in this time? If we don't embrace AI, if we don't get involved in automation, we're going to just keep spinning our wheels. And as you know, travel agents and agency owners wear about 40 hats, not meant to be that way in business at all. But, there comes a breaking point, especially after doing this for 15 years and you want to simplify that. So I decided to get on the call, and my ADD self was looking at it, and I'm like, 5 hours a day for 3 days. There is no way that they're going to keep my attention. There's no way. So then I had a conversation. They had the best customer service, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but the best customer service because they follow up with a text message. And I said, hey, tell me a little bit about this VIP plan. The VIP plan, because you pay and then you get the recording. And I thought, if I'm not going to be able to do this, then I can at least watch the recordings. So I went into that, and I was glued to my computer for 3 days straight.
Got it. So give me an example of like a practical application of what you learned in this training and how you've applied it to your business. Give me one example.
Okay, so I'm in a mastermind group with a bunch of agency owners, and we were putting together trainings together, putting together a training that all of us can kind of draw from for our agencies. And each of us was responsible for something, and I was responsible for writing this one module. And for what little I knew about AI and just using ChatGPT the way that most people use it nowadays, if you know what ChatGPT is, I prompted. I was all very proud of my little presentation that I was going to have to give on Friday of that week. And this was Wednesday. So sat on the call. Oh, I was telling you about upgrading to the VIP. So you not only get the recordings, but you get to stay on for a Q&A time after each call. So I literally was on all those and getting more information. By the time Friday morning rolled around, it was starting at 10 o'clock my time. And I thought, after everything I just learned, I'm going to reprompt this training that I built and see how much of a change it is. So I popped everything in, totally prompted it different, which if people that are watching don't know what a prompt is, it's basically an instruction to tell AI how to assist you, basically.
Yep.
So I prompted it differently. This thing pulled out in 30 seconds, and I was like, my jaw dropped. I could not believe it. It is like a kindergartner wrote the first one and somebody with a college degree wrote the second one. I'm like, shut up. How did I do that? So practical as far as what I learned, just a little bit of here and there. And these guys that I work with, AI for Business, they're phenomenal. They are their successes in their own right. They've been on the Inc. 500 list, I think 5 times or something like that. And but they just want to pour in and help you with your business. So I'm learning more too about business and not just AI. But yeah, it's been incredible.
And what do they do that helps you use the tools? Because are you still using ChatGPT or using different engines or using Perplexity? I use Claude AI a lot. For a lot of tasks that save me a ton of time. What is the AI for Business company? What did they do? Like,
So a big thing apart, when you get first of all, they have their own app and it's a wrapper. So it uses Claude, it uses ChatGPT. I think Grok's in there, Flux is in there, Midjourney's in there. Like there's so many different tools, and they're always adding and always changing things for us as well. But I do have my own subscription to ChatGPT on the side because I want to keep certain things separate. Everything in there is for business for me, but that they don't have that many. Sometimes when you do these virtual events, it's just a pitch fest. Everyone's just, they're pitching and pitching, and pretty soon you got very little value. You learned very little, but you heard a whole lot about, how much money you need to give them. They promise you, they pitch. They have one thing that they pitch, and they do it on breaks. They'll say, here's a restroom break. We're going to take 10 minutes. If you want to stay on with us, let us explain our tool to you. And that's basically all they do. But the tool is so robust. It comes with the whole community of people. And then we have mastermind calls. Like today, we had Bon Halbert, who is a copyright. I don't know if you know that name or not. Gary Halbert is the greatest direct response copywriter in the world. And this is his son. And he was on teaching about, just little things that are going to help you. So a lot of people like to use AI for cool tools and all that, but those cool tools are not going to make your phone ring. They're not going to generate leads for you. You have to have systems to do that. And I see a lot of people wanting, to go viral on social media, and everything's about social media marketing. Well, social media marketing is, you can have a viral video and never sell a trip ever. You can have a great social media following. So there's a lot more that goes into it.
All right. So you got to give me some specifics. Tell me how you used it to get a lead or make a sale or present, some content to agents that work for you, or give me some meat on those bones.
So Mark, right now I'm working with some travel agency owners that are coming to me, and I'm building systems for them. And so our agency is going to be transformed into an AI powered super agency, but it does take time, and you do have to build those things. But I think one of the big takeaways that I had is that you can train AI to know you, and not just you, but your brand voice. And it's not just your brand voice, but learning what your brand voice is. Like I said before, travel agencies wear all these hats. Well, when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And so this really helps you take a step back and master skills.
So for instance, again, I'm going to get really specific. So
Sure.
Have you used this tool to create something that you can put out there to generate leads? Is it more about training your agents? Is it like when you say you're building systems, the systems to do exactly what? Back office, CRM, front end to back end, sending out itineraries, for instance?
Yeah. So different things. So say we need to come up with a tips guide to send away with your clients, this is something that would take hours and hours and hours and hours, and using AI helps you accomplish that in a much shorter time. And it's so hard because there's thousands of tools out there, and they're not all subscriptions. Some of them are free.
Yeah.
But there's thousands that you can go through. And then out of those thousands, there's probably 25 that do the same thing. And then you got to figure out which 25 do the same thing, which is why I'm really partnered with this company, because they do all the heavy lifting for me. They feed what I need to know today. I know today, and I'm in the know for it. But let me think of something else you were saying.
So I'll give you an example. Maybe this will help.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is after I take this video, I'll download it and then I'll upload it to Dropbox. Mm-hmm. In Dropbox, I'll generate a transcript. Then I'll take that transcript and I'll ask Claude AI to take that transcript and turn it into a summary of our conversation that will then live on TravelTube. Now, if I just had to transcribe this interview in the old days, it would take longer than the video itself. So if it becomes a 30-minute video, then it'll take me probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to transcribe the darn thing. And then I'd have to format it on Word, et cetera, bullet points, et cetera, all that other stuff. So it probably takes something that would have taken 3 or 4 hours, and it turns it into 3 minutes.
Right.
It's done.
Isn't it amazing?
So it's an efficiency tool. But then with Claude AI, if I wanted to generate code and I wanted to create a landing page for something, I could basically say, hey, I need a landing page that connects up the social media and opt-ins, et cetera, for traveltube.com, and it'll give me the code. It'll pump out the code. Now I don't need a developer theoretically, right?
Right.
Theoretically, I don't need a designer. But at the same time, if I say, here's a deck, turn it into a PowerPoint, it doesn't really, sometimes it's not so great, at least Claude AI. And I use ChatGPT, I use Grok. I think it's interesting to have a conversation, put it in conversation mode and ask it questions and talk about things and talk about history. I think it would be an amazing tool for somebody traveling. The old days when you would grab the headset at the museum or whatever place you're at and you'd walk around, you could literally take a picture of something and say, hey, tell me more about this destination, or just tell me more about this destination. Tell me more about this plaza in the middle of Havana, Cuba. Tell me what happened here, what historical things took place. And very quickly, I don't have to go search the internet because it's pulling it all into one place for me. It's almost like creating a guidebook. You could literally build a guidebook off of this tool, for instance. Are those some of the things you're using it for, or?
Yes, definitely. But we use multiple tools because some, like you were saying, that one part of Claude doesn't work. Well, Claude's good for creativity and definitely for vibe coding. I mean, for producing code, we don't write code anymore. We don't have to. We don't even have to. Although I'm in a prompt mastery course where I'll be a prompt engineer at the end of it, but it's not even about prompting anymore because I have an app that I'll share with you that'll prompt for you. Like, you don't even need to.
It'll just say, this is what I want, and then it'll write the prompts in order to make it happen.
Yeah, and even in code or JSON, it's amazing. There's just so much. I mean, we could talk probably for hours, and these are like rabbit holes because we'll talk here and there. Basically, I have a tech stack. And that tech stack changes probably weekly because everybody's outdoing each other. It's like, how competition drives the business. They're crazy. They're always trying to outdo each other, but then you have to flip it up. And we've just been told, there's a lot of subscriptions out there. They want you to get the annual plan, and the annual, you're like, oh, I'm going to save a lot. Don't get any annual plan because
too fast.
You're gonna want to flip to the new thing that comes out next week, and then you're stuck in this annual plan that you don't need really.
Got it.
But yeah, it's there was another thing I wanted to. AI. So sometimes it's wrong.
Oh yeah, it hallucinates. It tells you incorrect information.
And that's why you really still have to know your stuff as a travel advisor. You cannot rely on it 100%. You really have to, and still our knowledge comes in, the longer you're in travel, the more knowledge you have about something. And then there's some things that you could back up and just figure it out by asking multiple sources, like I'm thinking about you taking a picture of the ruins and saying, tell me about this or whatnot. I mean, there's ways to back that types of stuff up, but you don't really want to just ask it questions. It'll go down a rabbit hole and lie. It lies about you. Like you'll say,
yeah,
tell me about myself. And then Academy Award winning actress.
Yes. Well, it's funny because like what people don't understand is if you go and just do a Google search, Gemini is their tool and it'll summarize your search, right? And it'll pull from 12 different sources, 8 different sources, 50 different sources. The beauty of it is it aggregates it and summarizes it for you, but it's still pulling data from websites out there and other platforms that are out there, and it's aggregating it in one place. Doesn't mean it's right because let's face it, a lot of the stuff we were told, for instance, about COVID, even if you ask, the AI tool, you're not going to get the right answer. I mean, you have to go and find credible sources, and those credible sources that are backed by real data. And I'll give you for instance, we just found out that basically half of all so-called peer-reviewed medical studies that are running in prestigious medical journals can't be replicated because they're BS. And you say to yourself, okay, but these are the source in some cases for the AI tool. So if half the stuff can't be replicated, then it's not real, but they're pulling that information. So to me, it's like, what do you trust? And that's where you need that human, deduction, not just the AI deduction or the AI aggregator. Because right now, these language learning models are more aggregating stuff. They're not really actually learning. They're just pulling stuff together for you and organizing it. But like you said,
Which is why it's important that you know how to prompt well,
yeah,
because you and I can have the same subject, sit at the same LLM and go ahead and prompt it, and we will get totally different answers because our input was totally different.
yep.
And if you want a good output, you got to have the right input. And when you're doing the right input, then you're also drilling it down afterwards. I often say, "Are you sure?" And then it says, my AI assistant calls me Reenie because that's what my family calls me. So it says, "Oh, you're right, Reenie. Good catch." Like,
You're like,
yeah,
"I'm
right.
gonna take the crap out of you." So I'm gonna start calling you Rini. All right. So so here's a question. What give me an example of like a prompt, like just a good prompt that would get the type of information you want, something you've done recently.
Okay, so one thing is you got to give it a role. So act as a world class, let's see, world class direct response copywriter, and write me copy for my blog that will have heightened engagement and will be a scroll stopping title in a post to drive business to my blog.
Okay, for social
That's
media.
just off the top of my head. I'm not the greatest at the top of my
That's
head, but
that's
it,
okay.
you're kind of, you have to give it a role. You have to tell it what you want it to do. Then when you're training your AI on the side, a friend of mine, we were just talking about this. He has Brad. I forgot Brad and um, somebody else. He has these two, and they're his advisory board, and he runs certain ideas by each of them. And so they are already fashioned to answer him for those two specific topics.
And these aren't people, these are AIs.
No, and the best thing about it is, how I said travel agents wear multiple hats.
Yep.
We have small businesses, Mark. We don't, you know what I mean? You don't have $1 million in the coffer to just play around with hiring more and more staff. But with AI, I can have a bunch of bots that are working for me, and they don't take lunch breaks. They don't call in sick. They don't sleep. They don't complain.
Yeah, what a
They're
concept.
just constant workers. It just
Hey,
takes time to build it. Once you build it, then you're building a whole team. And it's not, I think people are afraid of that. You're not afraid of it. You really, if you do it well, you don't have to worry about it. It's when you're taking these shortcuts and thinking you can learn everything. Just like I always say, like in travel, a lot of travel advisors, they want to do it themselves. Oh, I'll just do that myself, or I'll just do. What if our client said, I'm just going to book my trip it's myself? We have to get out of that. I don't know if it's addiction to mediocrity and well enough is alone, or go out and get those. Like right now, we can do that. We can have a copywriter working for us. We can have a social media, somebody that's really good at lead generation, because that's the way you're training your AI to do it. And they'll train you in that. Like they'll train you. You could turn around and
so what
train
are
you.
so what are some of the bots you've set up already? And like, do you have a
Well, I want
couple?
to tell you a story about this one.
Okay.
So remember I told you AI for Business, when I was thinking about signing up for this VIP. It's only like $27. It's not a big deal. But remember, I'm not a buyer. So but I was texting back the customer service rep, and I was saying, tell me a little bit about this VIP and what would I want it for. And I turned to my husband and I said, wow, they have really great customer service. I wish that I could have customer service like that. Like just answering questions, drilling it down. I was getting an idea of, this is like pre-qualifying a lead. But it's not pushy. You know what I mean? It's not, it was just so good. And I ended up buying the VIP. So we're at their live conference in Jacksonville back in March. And they said, you've already interacted with our bot, Sarah. I said, huh? They said, yes, Sarah's our bot. I said, shut up. And I picked up my phone and I started scrolling. I go, look at this. This is the conversation I had with her.
That's
I thought they
insane.
had great customer service. So when people are afraid of bots, that's just because you're not training them well. If you get a crappy one, which I'm sure you've interacted with some crappy ones as
Oh yeah.
well. But I also interacted with a very, very good one. And they showed us how to build a bot at their live event. Their live events are a little bit more intense than, just being on a call with them for 3 days. But when you're there, they're going to build an app. The guy built a roofing company in like 20 minutes in front of us.
Interesting. Where you could call in, you could get quotes, you could basically like handle any question. I've got asphalt shingles, I've got slate,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
A guy in the audience came up to him. He goes, do you know that would have taken me 6 months to do what you did today? I own a roofing company. And they're like, oh,
How cool is that? And
Yeah.
this was this more of a customer service? Was this like a salesperson? Like what was the role of the app for the roofing company?
Oh, the app for the roofing company, it was just literally building the company, like building it and everything that goes along with it.
So
doing the analytics, that just everything in the area, knowing, finding their target audience. And
oh, okay. So basically everything from a marketing strategy to creating a name to how many potential customers are there.
Yeah. And this can all be translated to travel, Mark, because small business is small business.
Exactly.
And it's just when someone has, like me, that has 15 years of experience, I kind of know what we need.
Right. Right.
Whereas even I talked to my mentor, the CEO of the company, and he's like, listen, Irene, I don't know your industry. You do. So he can only inspire me. He can't really tell me exactly what to do.
Got it. And how many other travel agent owners or travel business folks were there?
Well, I am definitely the first one, but I know more have come on since me because I see people popping up, and I think more and more travel industry people will be there. There's a lot of real estate people. There's a lot of like business coaches or business consultants. But there was a guy, he was 80 or maybe he was older than 80. He is in the Guinness Book of World Records for climbing all of the tallest mountain peaks in the world, like Kilimanjaro and Everest and everything. He was there learning how to start a business in his 80s.
Guy's a lunatic. Most people are picking out grave sites.
We're very bored.
Yeah, totally.
But you know what, Mark? You've played with AI. It's fun.
It's
like
fun.
There's a fun side of it too. But there's definitely a place for it to make you smarter. A lot of people say, oh, it's dumbing us down. Nope, it's making you smarter, but you have to know how to use it. And that's where,
so can we do an experiment? And you don't have to, we don't have to go through the whole experiment today.
Okay.
But maybe I give you a homework assignment.
Okay.
So I've got traveltube.com. You're on it right now. And I started off just like I did with my other stuff in the B2B side, which is to highlight business people like you, share about product knowledge. The concept is, and again, it's like herding cats with travel agents. And obviously, some of them are not the best in the world at embracing new things. Let's just leave it at that. But the idea is if you go to a Sandals and somebody else goes to the Westin in Maui, and somebody else is in Los Cabos, and somebody's on a river cruise, and somebody's on a mega ship, blah, blah, blah. You're all out there. You're all exploring things. I want to aggregate that knowledge, aggregate all of that content in a single place. But again, it's like some of you aren't really great at capturing video content. Some of you just post some photos. Some of you I get on to share the actual insights like we're doing today. But does this become an internet travel network? Does this become do we do travel shows? One of the things that I used to do is I'd go to these destinations and I would work with a video crew and we'd interview people and shoot content on location and produce great content and then broadcast it on my old business platforms that I used to own that I sold to the folks over at North Star. But like, what's the game plan? Like, what should we do with this thing? That's your assignment.
Okay. Yeah, and we will drill that down and have the best answers
I can't wait.
that
I
you
can't
could
wait.
think of. Yeah. Okay, cool. I love
All right.
assignments. This is
This is
good.
super cool, super cool. And she's gonna call me in 5 minutes and be like, all right, here it is. This is what you gotta do. Get off your ass, start working more. You're not retired any
No,
longer.
no, no, but that's the big thing. We want to work less. We want to work smarter instead of harder. And
Yeah.
yes, in the beginning, like my husband will tell you, is when are you going to get off that TV? Because I'm on several mastermind calls a week
Uh,
because you learn like from other like-minded people that have great ideas. It doesn't even matter what they're talking about because then I think, how can I implement that into what I'm doing? Just like now that you gave me that task, everything that I hear is going to be filtered through what I need for that.
yeah, I mean, it's a great name. Look at the logo. It's a great logo.
It's a great name. It's a great logo. And
It's got a lot of legs. My legs are getting kind of old, so I've had let's see, I'm up to surgery number 8 on my right leg. So, but I got a new hip.
okay,
So
you did. And
yeah,
that's all good.
yeah, I'm doing great, doing great. So this is what years and years of playing basketball in the playgrounds and in college, all the way through, beat the crap out of my knees and hips. So
But even that, think about how far technology has come in the
oh, yeah,
medical field. I mean,
absolutely,
it's pretty amazing. It's
no
pretty
doubt,
amazing.
no doubt. Well, all right. Do you have your assignment? Anything else you want to share?
Yes. So I don't know, when is this going out?
I'll probably put it out next week.
Okay.
Next week, yeah.
So then in 2 weeks, there's going to be another live AI for business virtual event. And I could give you a link. You could share it
Oh,
to
I'd
go
love
along
to.
with this video because that those 3 days, this is for everybody. It's not. I'm not cornering the market. I'm just the
Yeah,
first one there.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? It's so refreshing to have people because, like, I think the travel industry, especially the agency side of it, between the consortia and the host agencies, everybody's got their little fiefdoms, right? And it becomes stifling for innovation. We tried to innovate with some products, software years ago, and one person that runs a large host agency, they looked at what we were doing. They had been using a third party platform for years, for like 15 years, and it was crap. It hadn't been upgraded. It was just junk. It looked really bad. And she looked at it and I did a demo and she's like, this is incredible. I've never seen anything like this. Absolutely unbelievable. Blah, 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 whatever. Right. Couldn't say enough good things. And I said, well, you said your contract's running out in a year. How about we just have another call scheduled in a few months? And then, no, Mark, listen, I can't. I mean, what do you mean you can't? She runs a host agency that people pay money to be part of, not the $20 a month nonsense. We have
Yeah.
we have 20,000 agents, we have 5,000 agents. No, not that crap. Like sellers of actual travel. These people sell travel. And the response was, well, I'm very loyal and I've been on their board of XYZ company. And I said, but you just said it's the best thing you've ever seen. Why would you not bring that to your agents? Oh, loyalty, blah, blah. And again, like fiefdom, control. And then the other thing is they want control. So, they want to be the ones that bring the AI for business to the table so they can mark it up and make money, like buy it in bulk, like an enterprise solution, and
Mhm.
then make it their own. So it's a sales tool that they can use to recruit more agencies. Like you see it all the time. We've got the best
Right.
technology. We've got the best this. We got the best that. Imagine if everybody could just come together with whatever the best is and just use that. That would be incredible. But
Right. And if we
unfortunately,
share, listen, there's enough business to go around. You got
yeah,
to have a mindset of abundance. You cannot have a scarcity mindset in business. You shouldn't be in business if that's what you have. And
correct.
also, you should have a little bit of business sense. So if you're not like a lot of people that I know, they're not business minded. They
Right.
just love travel and
Yeah.
they can book trips because they've helped their family and friends for years.
Yeah.
But there's so much more into a business
Well, that's not a
that
business.
you need to
That's a
know.
hobby. Yeah, those are hobbyists. That's well, it's funny. There's another example of one of these big mega host agencies that make them, a ton of money. I don't fault them for making a ton of money.
No,
But when they go on to LinkedIn and say, "Oh, we just got recognized as, blah, 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 and our X number, X thousands of agents booked X," millions of dollars. And I comment on the post. I go, so based on your own math, that works out to $2,500 per agent. You don't have a travel agency. You have a travel club for consumers. Oh boy, did he get pissed off. But
right, because when you take those big figures, which they're probably inflated anyway, and you divide that by the number of agents that are in that agency,
yep.
then you're looking at how much, and it's commission. We're not talking about sales, we're talking about commission. So how much commission is your average agent earning? And you forget about living on it. You can't go out to eat a couple times.
You're not even paying for the monthly fee on it.
No,
it's ridiculous. And that's why they're churn and everything else. But again, it's like what people don't understand, the consortium model got override commissions, but then Carnival was the first back in the 90s, if I recall correctly. And they said, why are we paying all these agencies at 14 or 16% or whatever their top tier was, when like 90% of you, half don't even book us, and 40% do onesie twosies, and the 10% here actually do volume. I know who they are. I will go and cut deals directly with them. And then the consortium model evolved into getting marketing dollars and creating marketing programs as opposed to just commission overrides. And then the host agency model took off with the home-based market because they could herd the cats, and it's a buying power story. If I can do 10 million in sales, I'm a big player. But
and it doesn't matter if you're doing 10 million in sales and you have 10 million agents.
Exactly. That's the rub. And I think it's unfortunate because the suppliers, between a rock and a hard place, because if the supplier wants to keep getting business, do they feel like they need to keep paying that override commission, even though they know based on the numbers, these people aren't really 90% of them aren't producing. And the thing that really drives
right now, the tour operators are being hurt.
Oh yeah.
Because the suppliers want us to book directly with them. And how can I not, when you're offering me 18% to book direct with you?
Yes.
And my tour operator is only giving me 14%, and that's their top tier. Like, how do I want to be loyal to my tour operator? I don't want tour operators to go away, but I have to think about my own business. And the 18% is a whole lot better. And then you don't have to deal with, I know there's one resort chain, I'm not going to say the name of it, but my client was sitting there and they literally said to her, well, if you book direct with us, this wouldn't have happened. But since you booked with a travel agent, there's nothing we can do. What? And I'm screaming on the other line because I'm saying, listen, our mutual client is sitting in front of you right now. She's your responsibility and you need to do something. But instead, they take that opportunity to throw us under the bus. Well, guess what wouldn't happen? If I book directly with that hotelier, they can't say that because I booked directly with the hotelier. So, I mean, there's such a fine line right now.
So just to clarify, and you're going to tell me who it is afterwards. We won't put it out in the public, but I want to know because I can't stand the blame game. And the fact of the matter is, so it was booked through a packager or a tour operator.
Yeah, actually booked. Listen, and I'll tell you, it was booked through FunJet, and FunJet was incredible with with dealing with the problem. But their hands are tied at that moment when my client is sitting in the chair at in the manager's office. FunJet's hands are tied as well, and they were so super good.
But FunJet books hundreds of rooms a day at that resort, probably if it's a big resort.
And that resort would not honor their contracted rate to fix what was going on with the booking.
That's insane. FunJet should go kick them in the teeth.
Yep.
I would be pissed off.
Well, they had me on many recordings saying, you need to rethink your partnership.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Because I would not sell that hotel again.
And I won't.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what do they say? Penny wise, pound foolish?
Yep.
Old days, yep. Well, that's a great lesson. And you know what? To me, it's kind of crazy because I can understand if it's an individual consumer that booked at the hotel and they don't care if that customer ever comes back because it's one person. But if you're selling hundreds of people a year and you also are an industry leader and you're talking to people and you're sharing this story, and of course, FunJet that books millions, not just FunJet, but ALG overall,
right.
They're booking so many people a year. That's like cutting your nose off to spite your face. That makes absolutely zero business sense.
And it wasn't even that big of a deal. I mean, if I was there, would have handled it. So,
Unreal. Unreal.
mhm.
Well, that's why we love travel agents, because you guys always have the customers back and the suppliers back, and you'll step into the fray if necessary to protect that client. So good for you. I hope your customer understood that. Were they
Yeah,
okay with
it was
it?
a lot, but see, listen, Mark, it's hard when you have the resort right in front of your face saying this.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I didn't curse the whole time, but that made me curse. That's a record
You
for me.
you might have to edit that.
No, no, it just goes right up raw. It's no big deal. Hey, I hear him curse. I hear Greg Gutfeld on Fox saying bullshit all the time. So the FCC is now allowing bullshit. So
Oh,
there you go. Well,
that's
it was great bullshitting with you, Renee.
yeah.
Thanks for
Professional
coming
button pusher.
on. Yeah, yeah. I'm a walking trigger warning for all the Canadians that don't like the Orange Man. And I keep saying, come on, man. It's one guy. He's gone in 3.5 years. Lighten up, Francis. You know? So anyway. All right. Great seeing
All
you.
right.
And you're gonna let me know who that hotel is.
Yes, I will.
Send me a
I
text.
will.
I'll be
All
waiting
right.
for it.
Okay,
Good
I will.
seeing you.
All right.
And don't
Hey,
forget, send
Mark,
me
one
that.
last thing.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a Facebook group, AI for Travel and Hospitality Pros.
Okay.
Any travel advisor, we'd love to have you in there. We're teaching AI for travel.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'll share that for you too.
All
Beautiful.
right, thanks.
All right. Thanks again. Take
All
care.
right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.